This week we're looking for the best shot from the World Grand Prix. I've selected the 11 best shots from the event, or rather ITV did, but let's pretend I haven't ripped off the Hotshots, and we're going to find out which is best by recreating them as accurately as possible in the fewest possible attempts. There are a lot of challenging Judd Trump exhibition shots to get through this week, so I'm going to begin at the shallow end with shot A and a swerve shot from Shaun Murphy as he impressively spins the cue ball around the blue and pots the red over the pocket. I was really confident with this one, but unfortunately I didn't quite get through the cue ball on my first attempt, and as you can see I sort of quit on it and ended up not potting the red. My second attempt, however, was a lot better. Jack Lisowski now with a good long pot in a really close match against Robert Milkins. This first round encounter only just saw Jack get over the line after an impressive break in the deciding frame. However, it was shots like this that Jack just kept potting that ultimately saw him come out victorious. The shot itself just needed to be stunned across the table in order to hold for the black, and I felt a little bit unlucky with this one, even though I fluked my fourth attempt, because one of the earlier shots could easily have gone in, and I probably should have done better than 5 attempts here. Now it's time for a ridiculous positional shot from Judd Trump as he manages to spin the cue ball between the pink and blue and end up in position on the yellow. This shot's a little bit more of a challenge because you have to bounce the cue ball onto the cushion with topspin in order to make it spin through the gap of the pink and blue and head in the right direction. My first attempt was good, but I'm not sure how I hit it too hard and it actually went a little bit too far. I was using a tracer left hand side to make the angle, but I'm not sure if this is even right. The trick to it, if there is one, is to judge the bounce. If you can get the cue ball to bounce the right amount off the cushion, then it will go in the right direction, but it's easier said than done. That said, I was pretty happy with 4 attempts because this is a tough shot. Jack Lisowski is looking to open some reds with a cannon now, but will this turn out to be even more ridiculous than the Judd Trump shot? It was certainly more crucial because it allowed him to win the frame and force a decider with Mark Allen. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to play this with the rest, so I played it on the other side of the table and flipped it so it looked like I was left-handed. But to my surprise, it was very easy to get too much backspin on the cue ball. That's why I keep missing it high here. I actually tried to put more speed into the cue ball so it would hopefully go further down the table. However, that didn't work. So then I took some spin off the cue ball and that definitely did work, but which was the more ridiculous positional shot? This shot or the Judd Trump shot? Cue the music. Even though it was pure exhibition, the Judd Trump shot was an incredibly challenging way to get on the yellow, so he receives 4 ridiculous rhinos, whereas Jack Lisowski really needed to get in position to level the match up at 4 all, so he receives 5 ridiculous rhinos and he's this week's winner. Another Judd Trump shot now, and this time he's attempting a really awkward red up into the green pocket. I didn't think too much of this shot when I first saw it until I realised he was actually stunning the cue ball back across the table for position on the black, and that makes it a huge amount harder. So I was really surprised to see it going straight away and the cue ball end up on the black because it's a shot I thought I'd struggle with. Noppon Saengkham is next with one of the best snookers of the week. This snooker was so good that Mark Allen was unable to escape from it. However, it didn't end up helping him out in the frame at all as he ended up losing the frame and the match. This took a lot of time to set up right because it turned out if the blue wasn't exactly in the right place, you couldn't play this shot. I had to put the cue ball next to the yellow and play it around the table until I thought the angle was definitely on, and that meant I had the blue in the correct place. However, once it was there, all I needed to do was play the shot, And as it turned out, it was a relatively natural angle. I just had to get the cue ball close enough to the blue and pink to get it to come back off the side cushion and top cushion and head in behind the pink. I was really pleased. I kept getting close with all of these shots, but unfortunately the cue ball kept going just wide enough around the pink that I'd leave the yellow on. And even though I spent about 15 minutes making sure I set it up properly, I wasn't even sure if it was possible into my fourth attempt, which was a pretty good effort. Back to Judd Trump with a difficult blue. Both the pot and positional shot are excellent here. As he powers the cue ball top side of the middle pocket, comes back across the table to the low side of the middle pocket, and then comes back across again for the pink. I even thought I might have got it on my first attempt, but I ended up hitting the jaw, so I put a bit more backspin on the cue ball for my second, which got me in position but went too far. My third attempt I went in off. I potted it 3 times in a row and hadn't found the cue ball. As you can see, the positional side of the shot is clearly the hardest part of it. The pot is tough and I was getting less and less as time went by, but I was mostly being put off from this by trying to get the cue ball and kept failing over and over again. My 10th attempt was incredibly close, but I hit the pink. A lot of these shots would have been good enough to get me in position, but they weren't quite in the way Judd played it. It's been a while since I found a shot this difficult to get right in terms of position. I just couldn't hit it in the right point to get enough backspin on it to get past the middle pocket, but not too much to come the wrong side of the pink. So I was incredibly relieved to get it on my 16th attempt, even though I didn't quite hit it hard enough, but I got the cue ball on the right line. Kyren Wilson now with a really clever shot against Shaun Murphy that opens the frame up and leaves Shaun snookered. This shot in particular shows how aggressively snooker players are thinking in the modern game, and you'd think it would be easy at least to strike the yellow into the pink, but as it turned out this was a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be, as I just couldn't quite get the angle right on my first 3 attempts. However, when I finally did hit the pink, I also got the cue ball right in behind the brown at the same time, which I was pretty happy with. Noppon Saengkham's also really close to the pink, but he manages to power through for the black here. This frame was a massive steal for Noppon, who was ultimately able to overcome an in-form Mark Williams. Now if you wonder what keeps going wrong with the clips, I couldn't find a lot of them anywhere, so I had to get some dodgy ones off the internet which weren't in a single piece, so I had to stitch them together, which was a bit awkward. However, this shot was also awkward, so I was pretty pleased to get it in just 3 attempts. Judd Trump is next up, powering his way out of trouble. That hasn't worked for me, has it? I was surprised at the time that this shot didn't win Judd the tournament, but ultimately Mark Allen was able to hold himself together and secured 2 crucial frames at the end of the match. This is a shot that Judd simply had to go for and had to get. I was actually really pleased to get this in just 2 attempts, considering how many shots in this video that I'd really struggled with. We've got another Noppon Saengkham shot coming up after we find Zach, who's from Houston, Texas, which is obviously there. Noppon had a really impressive tournament and got very close to beating Mark Allen in the semi-final. However, he did beat Ronnie O'Sullivan, and it was shots like this one that helped him over the line. I started to struggle with this shot when I realised how much backspin you had to put on it, so I was really surprised that my 3rd shot went in, especially with how far away I was with my 2nd, so a good result in the end. So for the results, 3rd place goes to Noppon Saengkham with this pink. He'd worked so hard to even get to this stage, and this won him not only the frame but then eventually the match. Second place goes to Judd Trump with this crazy pot he was forced into that got him right back into the final. And first place also goes to Judd Trump with this blue. Getting the pot was difficult enough on this shot, but getting in position was just ridiculously hard. And of course, don't forget to comment your favourite shot from the tournament, and if you want to see me recreating the best shots from other professional events, then have a look at these two videos. And remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later.